The Early Learning Coalition is a local not-for-profit agency focused on early education and care. The goal of the coalition is to prepare all children to enter kindergarten ready to succeed. They held a unique fundraiser recently, and we'll recap the event just around the corner right here on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Heather McIntyre. She's the Assistant Vice President of GEICO. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And an old friend of ours. Well, I don't want to say old, but we've been friends for a while, right? Our friendship is old. Coming up on about a year, right?
Yes, about a year. That's right.
Mark Hutek, he's the CEO of the Early Learning Coalition of Polk County. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mark, for those that don't really know, can you explain, we heard a little bit about your mission in the open of the show, but explain to folks what the Early Learning Coalition does, please.
Okay. Well, you know, the Early Learning Coalition, I joke about it and say it's kind of like the school district for small children. But basically, we're a state-funded organization, but we operate as a nonprofit, a 501c3, and we work primarily with about 10,000 children a day in Polk County, between the ages of birth to 5. And we also work with some school-age children that go to some of those daycares after school and before school. But primarily our goal is to prepare children for kindergarten and to help work with those parents that need some financial assistance in getting quality child care. So back in the day where you always had child care that was supplemented by the state, nowadays many of those child care centers have these academic programs that the state's kind of keeping a watchful eye on. So it's become very educational. It's not just child care. And we work very closely with 350 daycare providers supervising and working with 10,000 children a day.
Myself and Mark Cuddy were privileged enough to come in and shoot some of your presentation, your video,
yes,
announcing what you guys do, and I had so much fun just watching the little kids learn. You're still relatively new on the job. Talk to me about what it means to provide such an incredible service to the children of this county and really the future of this area.
Well, one thing that you realize is that the children that live in poverty come into the public schools in kindergarten oftentimes at a disadvantage. You know, the statistics will tell us that for every hour of educational learning that a child from birth to the age of 5 gets at home, you know, someone outside of the poverty areas will receive 7 hours worth from their parents. So when you start talking about the millions of words that children learn by the time they get to kindergarten, there's such a huge discrepancy that those children that come from those poverty areas, and Polk County has many of those, they do tend to come in at different odds. And of course, then you're talking about projecting out everything from what they get involved with socially to whether or not they've got opportunities of getting involved with drugs, getting involved with problems in high school, arrest reports. I mean, it feeds all the way up the ladder, and you really have the ability to change a community, you know, by starting with those children at the youngest of ages. So the Early Learning Coalition does exactly that. We work with those children to help them fight the odds in particularly some of our more poor communities. At the same time, we also work with all the VPK programs. You know, everybody's heard of voluntary pre-kindergarten at some point. That's that group of children that are coming into school in another year. So that one preschool age year, we work very highly with getting those children those reading and numeracy skills that they need to perform at kindergarten, because they've got some criteria for kindergartners that happen when they get there. And it's our job to best prepare those children for that. And that's for all children at that point.
Now, Heather, not only are you guys a fantastic community partner at GEICO with the Early Learning Coalition, but you have a vested interest to support this nonprofit here within the community. Talk a little bit about what it means to you, not only as a mother, but as a business leader in this community to support what they're doing.
Absolutely. You know, as a mom, I have 2 toddlers, 3 and 5. and I understand the value of early learning, early education for children, so that they can reach their full potential. I mean, this community is so important to us at Geico and important to me as a mom, because we have to invest. It's our responsibility to invest in the children so they can become productive members of our community in the future and help keep this community strong. From Geico's perspective, you know, what better partner than Early Learning Coalition, where we can really help support that initiative.
Now it comes to the partnership where you guys really kind of stepped up to the plate and put on probably one of the best motorcycle shows that I have seen in Polk County. And I got to tell you, Mark, when the girls came to me 5-6 months back and said, listen, this is what we want to do, and to see it all go down, be a part of it, I got to tell you, there is nothing I have seen like this put on in Polk County, not only by the Early Learning Coalition, but by Geico. Talk to me a little bit about what happened with the Central Florida Wheels of Steel.
Well, you know, the state requires the coalition to provide you know, some match funds, right? The state doesn't just say, here's all the money to take care of your community. We'd like to know that your community is willing to invest into their children. So when I was appointed to the CEO position a year ago, you know, we've done some fundraisers, and the United Way is a tremendous supporter here in Polk County. But we recognized that we needed to go a little bit deeper and find an opportunity to commit to raising more funds in the community for little things as well, not just the big programs, but you know, throughout the course of the year, there are always needs when it comes to children. And when the idea came out to put something like this together, it was amazing how fast Geico stepped up. I mean, it was just like, we had a couple conversations with them, and before you know, we've got a key sponsor right off the bat. And if you're going to talk about somebody that's willing to invest in a community, and it has been an amazing partnership for this event. We're looking forward to the future. Obviously, we'll talk about that, but Geico's just spot on, and they're such a key stakeholder in this community. It's just been amazing.
And I got to tell you, the majority of pictures I saw from the event, from Facebook, was with the lizard.
Yes.
Everybody had a picture with the lizard. That is such a marketing, oh wow, genius. I love it. But it worked out well for you guys, not only supporting a great cause, but really, I've been riding bikes forever, and you guys are my sponsor. Not my sponsor, my insurer. Like, see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to work some early, you know, insurance plug for myself. Just kidding. But it was a natural fit for you guys to come in. You're one of the largest insurers of motorcycles in the United States. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys got out of the event.
Absolutely. So we're one of the largest insurers in the nation, second largest motorcycle insurer in the nation. And you know, it's very important to us that we can provide that insurance for the safety of riders, not just in our community, but all over the U.S. You know, it's just important that we can give the riders what they need to feel safe on the road, that peace of mind. But also at this event, being able to support the customized builders, the artistic talent that came, who are also riders themselves, and just being able to support the rider community as well. It's very important to us. We have deep roots here in Polk County, being here over 20 years. But for more than 80 years, we've really focused on protecting our policyholders on the road as they've experienced some unexpected events.
I got to meet Corey, and I got to meet Corey Souza and Tom Kelly, two of the builders.
Right.
And wow, those guys, the talent that they have behind them. You, had you ever been to a bike show like that?
Not like that. Not like that, no.
So what did you take away from it? What did you see that that struck you?
The amazing talent of the artists, because when you walk around, it's not just a motorcycle. There's so many different types. There's so many different styles. And they appreciate each other, and they respect each other, and just understanding how important it is to the biker community. My husband rides bikes, but you know, just understanding the importance in the community to these bikers, and being able to support that, you know, for years to come, and support the Early Learning Coalition at the same time. It's an absolute perfect partnership.
And not only was Geico the title sponsor, the many sponsors that you had within the building, you know, the outer ring was the sponsors, inner ring was all the motorcycles. Mark, talk to me what it means to you to provide them with that opportunity to showcase what they have to a unique niche that's you know, that you guys brought to the table.
Well, I think the community itself, that biker community, was starving for something like this. That's what we heard. We heard more folks mention that this is just something that's needed. You know, the air conditioning was a treat, because so many times, many of these individuals that get involved with these things go out and it's hot and but just the piece behind it, everybody had their own stories, and they had a deeper purpose for participating in something like this. So it wasn't just so much that they could just get the business exposure. When you sit down and you talk to them and you talk about early learning, you talk about supporting children, you talk about creating a community event, putting Lakeland on the map to become a destination, having the key sponsors step up, it became so much more like a family event that it really pulled everybody together. And what you find is some of those stereotypes, folks like me that have never been a biker. I mean, I've had motorcycles most of my life, but I've never been involved with individuals like that. The hearts are just golden. And when you talk about purpose and you talk about that self-actualizing, you know, need to fulfill, it was just amazing. And the hidden motives for folks to step out and participate on those kinds of things were just envious. I mean, you're just so appreciative. So.
And it couldn't have been an Early Learning Coalition event without the one corner being dedicated to the kids. That was the best. I wanted to go over and play.
It was. And you know what was the great part? I'm not sure if you saw that. Maybe we can get it. But the sheriff's officers that jumped on the tricycles themselves and had the race. Yeah. Right. That was great. You know, our sheriff is amazing.
Yeah. And the community partners. Well, not our local municipalities and of course the sheriff. Talk about their presence at. Not to mention the mayor of Lakeland. So talk about what it meant to have them there too.
Well, it's just it's a founding of a community event that's going to become a much larger tradition that basically says, you know what, we're going to look after the people in our community. Because I think at the end of the day, everybody realizes that the purpose of this piece was all about supporting the children in our community. We have the ability to work with our youngest folks and provide them with some of the greatest resources at that age to change our community. And I think having the mayor step up, the mayor of Lakeland step up and come out in the morning, come out in the afternoon, be visible, be a part of it, having the sheriff's office and the Lakeland PD and the Haines City PD and I'm not even sure who else was there, but all of these individuals step up and say, hey, we want to be a part of this thing, really showed a unity that it isn't just a particular municipality in Polk County. This is Polk County coming together for the right reasons.
Well, one thing that you had mentioned in the future, what can we expect? You know, we're a little bit past the show, obviously had time to wind down. What can we expect the future of Central Florida Wheels of Steel? Because in talking to the people that were on the board, you know, they want this to be a legacy type event, you know, that folks can come to. What are we looking at?
Well, you know, I've always been a guy that's believed in continuous improvement, right? And I think everybody that leads an agency or an organization always has to kind of pursue doing whatever you've done one step better the next time around. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from this was there's a market for it. It serves the right purpose. There's certainly the commitment from the community that says we're willing to step up, but obviously get bigger and get better. And when next year, I think, you know, we're gonna try to reach back into the individuals across the country that get involved with this. We're gonna hopefully double the length of the show. Instead of doing a one-day show, let's make it a two-day show so that, you know, it can become a weekend destination. You know, we do believe that there were probably several individuals that weren't willing to drive more than 2 hours or so because it was just a one-day shot. Yeah. But, you know, if we put it overnight, maybe we do some night event, somehow, bring some music into it, create more of a celebration, but also at the same time, make sure that we allow everybody to realize how much good it's doing for the early learning community, because I think that's really a big takeaway, and the fact that we can get a lot of individuals feeling good about themselves for the children of Polk County, I think it would be great.
And Heather, does that mean we can count on you for next year's show too?
I think it's a win-win partnership, honestly. I mean, it's been really fun to partner on this initiative and just to support the things that GEICO believes in. So I hope we do, and I hope it's much bigger and even better, and I look forward to it.
Mark, fundraising is really kind of the life's blood of a nonprofit, and whether it be the individuals that could help you out or companies such as GEICO, how can folks get a hold of you to say, hey, we want to get behind you? And then also, what can we look for you guys for fundraisers in the future where we can get behind and support you there?
Well, the ELC serves a lot of children, and just like your public school system, somewhere out there, everybody is connected to what we do one way or another, because you don't serve 10,000 children a day and not have those connections in the community. Obviously, we're available at elcpolk.org. We've got offices in Lakeland, Winter Haven, and Lake Wales. We are not too big that we can't provide a personal touch to anything that we do. So if there are organizations out there that have an interest in supporting our children, or however an initiative may come up, certainly we're willing to work with them and partner. GEICO has just been an amazing sponsor in this, and we would love to have other individuals attempt to even step up to become even half of what GEICO's been. So we're very appreciative of that. We do have a gala coming up in November. It's a little more of a formal event, but it will be a nice dinner and the opportunity to support it. And we hope to start having some information come out on that in the next month, but that'll happen in November. But then throughout the course of the year, you know, we are considered a 501c3, so certainly we are available for any kinds of proceeds. The Sheriff's Office just donated thousands of dollars worth of toys to us recently, and it was just a wonderful piece, because even before I came here today, I had the opportunity to stop by a daycare provider and drop off a handful of toys for them, because, you know, in many cases it's a business, and it's all about taking care of their children.
Well, Mark, Heather, it was a pleasure having you in the studio. Look forward to promoting anything that you guys have going on. I want to thank you for being such great community partners and always being on the show. And it's always a pleasure and an honor to promote anything that you guys got going on.
You've been great supporters for us as well with the ELC, and we appreciate you. And GEICO has just helped make what we did our first year with the Wheels of Steel a success, so we certainly appreciate them as well.
Thank you.
The Early Learning Coalition of Polk County is a not-for-profit agency focused on the early education and care. The goal of the coalition is to prepare all children to enter kindergarten ready to succeed. Through various collaborative community partnerships, the coalition works to identify resources and opportunities to maximize their ability to deliver the highest quality services. Whether you're a parent, a child care provider, or an interested member of the community, the Early Learning Coalition is here to help. For more information, you can look them up on the web at www.elcpolk.org or give them a call at 863-733-9064.